Okay, we are live, and I see that we have quite a few people waiting for us. Oh, it makes us feel good that people want to wait for us. Maybe they're waiting for you. I don't know.
I'm special.
Yeah, you're special, all right. You're so special, you take the short bus everywhere you go. Yeah.
I'm so special. I got a bottle of wine gifted to me.
Oh, well, nice. Yeah, Walter's the darling of the neighborhood. He blew out the old lady up the street's driveway for her the other day in the snowstorm. She just dropped over here about 20 minutes ago with a really nice, fancy bottle of wine for Walter. So,
Well, actually, what it was well, we got a reasonable amount of snow the other day, and I was out there cleaning it with the snowblower, and the neighbor next door is away on holiday,
yeah,
and
they drove to Florida.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he usually cleans her driveway for her with her own snowblower.
Mm. Oh,
So I was out there, I saw her out there sort of fumbling around in the snow, and I said, well, I came over, I said, you're okay if I blow your driveway out? And she said, yeah, no problem. So I did, and I didn't expect the bottle of wine. I mean, I was just doing it to be nice.
and she gave you a very nice bottle of wine.
Yeah.
It's one that we used to get on the cruise ships, which I had forgotten about until you reminded me of that. But anyways, let's see who's all here. So hi Donna, hi Jeannie, hi Patsy, hi Marilyn, hi Teresa, hi Glenna, hi Penny. And Teresa did not know that you were having kidney surgery.
Wow.
So geez, well,
Obviously you're feeling better.
yeah, that's good. I hope that everything went well with that. You never said a word about that at all. Hi, Eddie. So anyways, and I think today you should be able to see the comments a little better on the screen because I have figured out how to get more of them on there. Yeah, so we'll see how that works out. Anyways, so good neighbors are golden. Yeah, well, that's Walter. He's just the darling of the neighborhood. Everybody wants Wally to blow their driveway.
I mean, well, I didn't expect a bottle of wine. I didn't really do it for a bottle
You
of
just
wine.
gave it, did it out of the goodness
Yes,
of your
I did.
heart, which is amazing because, well, I guess, well, you never blew my driveway. Oh, yes, you did.
I do.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah, whatever. So anyways, let's get into things here and talk about what Walter's been working on. And he was working on this before we went on air, and he's still not any further ahead.
Well,
Can you guess what Walter's working on? Can everybody guess what he's working on?
I'm
Let's
still
just
working
give
on
it a
the
minute.
shirt. I was putting the cuffs on this
Oh,
afternoon.
wow.
So then I got sidetracked again as usual.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, because he always staring at his computer screen. So, of course, I was a little sidetracked this afternoon too. I've kind of gotten hooked on doing jigsaw puzzles online. I do not like doing jigsaw puzzles in like the usual standard kind of jigsaw puzzles, but for some reason, I like doing them online. So I think I did a couple of them. I'm working my way up. I started easy, and I think I'm up to about 200 piece ones or something. But no rotation. You can choose those. So I'll move my way into rotation. That'll make it a little bit trickier. Hi, Laura. Well, I don't know. I put one out, Laura, about the notification. What you might want to do is, and I have found this is a problem on YouTube, and it's been like this for quite a while. You know the notification bell? Well, there are 3 settings for the notification bell. I usually set my notification bell for other people's YouTubes to all, but there are times when I don't get notifications either from those, and I find that I just go in and double check to make sure I've got the bell clicked in that kind of thing. It is a YouTube problem. It isn't a problem on your end. It's not a problem on my end. It is a problem with YouTube. For some reason, it's hit and miss, and I've heard lots of people talk about that. Hi, Teresa number 2. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of websites. Just do a search for jigsaw puzzles, Teresa. Just do like online jigsaw puzzles, and you will find all kinds of them on there. And Some of them are paid sites. I don't pay for anything online. No, I don't. There's tons of freebies out there, and you can even get ones that'll on your phone. I downloaded one for my phone, although I don't like playing it on a little screen like that because you know you got to be able to move your pieces around and that to see what you're doing. So I am. So anyways, yeah, they're there. Check it out. It's kind of fun, and you want to know something? I think it's probably good for your brain as well. I mean, I've done Sudoku before, but I never really got into that. But this I kind of like. And I started with jigsaw puzzles about quilts because that's where I discovered it. I belong to, I have a membership with the, what do they call it? The Quilt Show. You know, Ricky Timms and
Alex Anderson.
that's it. I was trying to think of her first
Well,
name.
obviously, it's not been good for remembering names.
Well, my brain is still muddled. I did several puzzles in a row. Why don't you just take something really sharp and poke it through your ears? Because nothing will stop. It'll come out the other side. Anyways, so yeah, I find it kind of fun. And but I found it on the Quilt Show because they have one with their newsletter. And that's where I found the link. And you don't have to do quilting ones. They have all kinds of different ones. It's kind of fun. So anyways,
Excuse me, I got an itchy nose. I don't know why.
ooh, itchy nose. Ooh, Walter's got an itchy nose. So Laura says I clicked all as well. So I redid it with your channel just now, kind of like a reset. Hopefully that works. Yes, YouTube has lots of gremlins for sure. Yeah, and YouTube's always fooling around with things too, and you never know what they're doing. Hi, Fidel. I was just looking here to see if we missed anything anybody else is saying here. Well, Fidel, I was talking to you online with email. We mean just woke up.
Maybe he dozes like you do.
Oh, I don't doze. I power nap. TV puts me to sleep. So does wine. And if I've had enough wine, I'll go to sleep even quicker. Okay, so that's what Walter was working on, his shirt. So what's your project going to be when you're finished my shirt, which won't be until July?
Good question. Actually, I want to do some more embroidery stuff.
Like what?
I might do another shirt, except trying to do it a little faster.
Oh. Maybe you should try doing some embroidery on the pockets of shirts.
Yeah, I have thought of that. It depends on what kind of...
Maybe you could make me a polo shirt with an embroidered idiot quilter on it.
Yeah, I could probably do that.
Something like that.
I've got fabric for that.
Oh, well, okay. So that's all you've been up to. Hi, Dana. And Dana says it's all well there. Well, that's a good thing, Dana. I'm glad. So what have I been working on? Well, lots of things. So let's see. What am I going to start with? Let's take a look at the gnomes and kitties because it's all completely done. So I'm just going to switch over my screen for you. It's not it. And there it be. And let's go screen. Okay. So actually I want to do picture in picture. There we go. So yep, I've got that all finished. It's all quilted now. And you know, it kind of has grown on me. When I first did it, I didn't know what I was making. I threw together scraps and things like that. And now I'm pretty pleased with it to start with.
Even with your mistakes?
I didn't make... Okay, one of these kitties doesn't belong. Can you spot the kitty that doesn't belong? I'll give you a hint. Actually, I screwed up in a couple of spots. This row down here, first of all, I put the same color, the cat and the butterfly, the same color. They should have been separated. This should have been this cat over here and this cat over there. But then if you take a look at this kitty is a little different from the other kitties. Because first of all, this is what I call my kitty from the 80s. It has shoulder pads. And it also has, the tail's not right. I got a couple of the blocks flipped around, or the little half square triangles, and didn't notice that when I put it together. Well, actually, not true. This kitty has 80 shoulder pads as well. Well, it has to do with the way I was making the half square triangles more than anything. But
Yeah,
Unless
and
it's
its tail is kind of weird too.
oh, his is a little different too. I didn't notice that. Okay, each kitty has a little different look. I'll say that's what I'm going to say about it. I don't care. It's fine, but I kind of like it.
Well, at least you lined up the two with the shoulder pads in the same row.
Oh yeah, that was a little mistake I made here. Oh, that's why the kitty looks funny. I forgot to remove this row down here. When I said, no, that's not why it's funny
No,
either.
because-
See, I had to remove, I removed a row from each kitty because originally they were a little taller. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Well, I don't know what I did. It doesn't really matter. Now, it's done. That's all that matters. And here's the back. I've started to take pictures of it so you can see the quilting here. It was a pantograph. And here's a close-up of the quilting in it as well. I just did what they call a scribble. And so that's one thing I've been working on. And then I've been working on this. Now, this isn't done. The top is done. I just finished the top yesterday. This was from a kit. I've had this kit forever. I think I bought it the very first time we went to a quilt show. And it was the Quilter's Cupboard, which is a place that's about north of us by about 25 minutes, 30 minutes from us. I've talked about their store before. And I bought...
Actually, even though you don't like those, those colors aren't usually your colors.
No.
Actually, I kind of like it.
It's got sort of a depression style kind of look to it. The fabric has that kind of look to it. But it does have mitered corners. And I had a little problem with the mitered corners, but I got them finally. I mean, I've done mitered corners before, but I don't do them very often. But if you notice, my mitered corners down in here, my border lines up. And these don't line up perfectly, and I wasn't going to fussy cut enough to get them that way, but you really can't tell because of the print on it. But anyways, now it's ready to be put on Lucy and to be quilted. And I think I'm going to use feathers on this one. I think feathers would suit it. So, of course, when I say I'm going to use feathers, I mean, I just realized something. The picture in the picture is not going to show up. Oh, yeah, it is showing up when they say, okay, I didn't think it would. All right, fine. Never mind. I've digressed. Squirrel.
It's not on there.
That's oh, yeah, because we're looking here. Okay, so, good. Don't pick your nose. They could see us. Or other
it's
parts.
not itching right now, so.
Yeah, good for you. So anyways, yeah, this was a kit. As I said, I think it cost me, well, the price tag was still on $125, and it came with the fabric. Everything except the backing fabric, of course, because kits never come with backing fabric. But remember the problems that I had with the Bargello and the pattern? Well, I had some problems with this one because this is all done with strips. And they said in the pattern that the strips were 1.5 inches, and they had all the strips cut. So I didn't bother to measure them. I just figured that's what they were. No, they weren't. They cut them at 2 inches. And I'm not absolutely sure why they did that. Someone read the pattern wrong, or they thought the way the pattern was written, and there was a little bit of confusion, that it was 1.5 inches finished, the strips. And so to get that, you would have had to cut them at 2 inches. But so I think that's what they did. But so the measurements didn't work out, but I made it work. And it works fine. It was easy to adjust it. But anyways, yeah. When I look at the picture of it now, I do kind of like it.
Yeah, but see that one, you see the lower one, the smaller one.
Yeah.
It's like it's from further away.
Yeah.
Right? So actually, I really do like it.
So what you're saying is the further away you are from my quilts, the better they look. Okay.
No.
Fine.
It's just that when you see something close up, it may not look the same as when you see it further away.
Yeah, right. I know what you mean. Yeah. Not even close.
Kind of like, when you see a person
from a distance?
see a person in a distance with, like their shirt off in the summertime. You think, oh, that looks like a good looking person. And then when you get up close and you go, oh, forget it.
Okay, enough about our summer hobbies, though. And what else have I been working on? Okay, I just finished this. Now, for some reason, when I took this picture, it didn't come out as purple as it is in real life. It looks a little bit more gray, but trust me, it is purple. This is an in the hoop. It's called the Celtic Knot Table Runner. It's an in the hoop design, which means you do it all in your embroidery hoop, including the joining of the pieces, because you actually embroider 4 separate pieces, but you join them in the hoop as well. And I've done that kind of thing before, so the first time you ever do it, it might be a little confusing, but after you've done it once, it's really easy. And I think it turned out really quite nice. So I decided these cupboard doors of mine are a little bit blasé. They're just blank white down here. So I decided to put this one on the door because I'll never use it as a table runner. And you can make it longer too. There's
Not a very big table runner.
well, no, but you can make it longer. Now you can't make it wider, but in that. But anyways, you have limitations when you do stuff in the hoop, right? Size wise as well. But you can make it longer. But it's the perfect size for that door. And I think I'm going to make a few other projects that are on a similar vein as this to just put on my cabinet doors in my sewing room because yeah, they look nice with that, I think. And so, what are these? Well, you know that we're booked in to do the Ultimate Sewing, our local quilt stores retreat, which is coming up at the end of March. And Walter and I are the programmers for the events and things that are going to happen. And we actually have a Zoom call with Donna, the hostess with the mostest from Ultimate Sewing. She's kind of in charge of the overall organization and everything for the retreat. So we're helping her out. Well, we're basically doing it all. The programming and entertainment. So one of the things that I have planned is a challenge, a scrap challenge. I'm taking all my scraps. Good way to get rid of them. Donna says she's got a ton too. And we're going to let people have so many minutes to pull out scraps from these buckets or whatever. And well, I haven't decided yet how that's going to work, whether or we just bag them up in a baggie and this is what you get, make it work, or and you can, you know, trade with other people if you want, which might be the better way to do it. I don't know. You know, a bunch of women looking in a big box full of scraps, you know what that's like. There could be bloodletting. But whatever way. And the idea is during the course of the days we're there, they create a block and we're going to vote, and it'll be everybody in the place will vote. They'll get so many tickets. I do a lot of things with tickets, and they'll have like 5 or 10 tickets or something like that, and there'll be a bag. We'll post all of these scrap things up on a bulletin board or something when they're done. People can examine them. There'll be a number and a bag per se, and they can drop their tickets in the bag, and they can put in, you know, 1 ticket, 1 for a vote, or if they really like something, put in 5 of their tickets or whatever. It's up to them. And whoever gets the most tickets wins, and will probably be a first, second, and a third place. And I don't know if we're going to call them anything like best of show, most original color, whatever that is. Actually, I'm going to keep
Ugliest quilt.
Yeah, ugliest block. It's not a quilt. And this is the trophy. I'm making these. Now, I'd made another type of trophy a while ago, but then I just recently found this design. I'm doing it in rainbow. And of course, I have a little thing that this picture doesn't show it because at the time I took the picture, I hadn't got those done. But there's a little label that on the front that it'll say Ultimate Sewing Retreat 2022 on the front of it. And of course, it serves as a pin cushion as well. So I think that'll be kind of fun with it. So I'm making another one as we speak in behind here. Okay, let me get out of this screen. And let's go back to the webcam. Okay, there we are. So what's everybody saying here? I've got to back up here for just a second. Oh, Fidel was taking pills. Okay. Okay, Laura thinks an Idiot Quilter logo shirt would be awesome. My problem is I have a logo, that I created, but it's too complex to embroider. And I don't know if we can simplify it, or maybe I'll have to come up with a different design or something if we do that. Oh, Patsy said something naughty and she retracted it.
Oh, how about if I just put a plaque that says I'm an idiot?
I'm an idiot. Ask me. Yeah, right. I thought you could make two, one for yourself as well. Oh, Jan's here. Hi, Jan.
No, I'll just say I'm with idiot.
Yeah. Well, that's usually pointing at you. Laura says she loves the colors. At first, it wasn't sure about the yellow, but it's growing on me. Yeah, it's beautiful, Penny says. Thank you. He's just a kitty that needs more love. Oh, yeah. From the ones that were there. The cat looks like it's side sitting view. Could be. Half square triangles are sometimes hard. Yeah, you get them mixed up. It's a male cat with the broad shoulders. Oh, okay. Power quilter. Yeah, I guess I am. That's all I do. In fact, we went into Ultimate Sewing last week.
Hi, Andy.
Was Andy here? Hi, Andy. And Rowan's here. Hi. Oh no, that's we'll get rid of Rowan. He's advertising porn. Say goodbye, Rowan. We went into Ultimate Sewing earlier this week because I figured out what I want to take to the retreat, and I needed some fabric. Yes, I know. Did I need more fabric? Yes, I did. I didn't have the right stuff. So $270 later, I had more fabric. So I got that. I'm trying to decide. Teresa says, what pattern to use for my hubs? Amazingly, he asked me to make him a quilt. He must feel left out. Oh, well, that's okay. Fidel says he loves the Celtic patterns. The table runner's amazing. And thank you. Teresa says, weigh them out in colorways and put in brown paper bags. Draw a number for a bag, then they don't know what they get. Offer a one-time trade option. Also have a table of extras at 60-second per each. Oh, okay. You're talking about the scraps.
No.
Okay, so weigh them out in colorways and put them in brown paper bags. Draw a number for a bag, then they don't know what they get. Offer a one-time trade-up. That's kind of an interesting way. I hadn't really thought of that, Teresa. Obviously, you've been to something where they've done that before, or did you just come up with that on your own? Cheryl's here. Hi, Cheryl.
Hey, Cheryl.
Hi, Judy. And Jen spent way more than I did. Yeah, well, that was a light day for me on that one. Okay, so those are the things that I've been working on, and I've signed up for a block of the month. But you got thinking about this. This ends in May. So how can it be a block of the month?
When's it start?
It starts in March. And it's every Wednesday. Well, I guess what she's doing is she must have counted out 12 weeks.
Maybe she's she's doing a block a week.
Maybe. Yeah, that must be what she's doing, a block a week or something. Anyways, that's Donna at Ultimate Sewing. So, and she's doing it online for the store, which is something new for them at the store. And I told her I'd give her a hand with the technology because she's not absolutely 100% sure of herself using it. So I told her I'd help her out with that. Eddie says, Stephen, have you started the old Canada quilt? Not yet, but that's on my list possibly this week. I've got the pattern and I'm ready to go. I've got all the fabric and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think this week I'm going to get started on that. After I get that one I just showed you, that's called Sitting on the Fence, that one that looks like depression fabrics. That one I'm going to slap on Lucy tomorrow and I'll get started on that. Okay, well, thanks, Teresa. I like that suggestion. I will take note of that when I'll bring that up with Donna when we have our meeting this week about everything. So anyways, that's all that's new and exciting. So what else did we do this week? We put up curtains.
Oh, yeah.
Not in our house. I thought you were going to say something.
Yeah, okay, no, that's fine.
Well, when I say we, Walter put up the curtains. This is for our friend, that moved into the apartment. So we'd gone over to Walmart and we picked out some curtains and that. Actually, quite a few, like $200 worth of curtains. I mean, as curtains go, that's cheap, right?
Yeah, it wasn't
But we had to
expensive.
buy, well, between the bedroom and the living room and the really long windows. I mean, the one in the living room window is what, 16 feet
Yeah,
across. It doesn't go all the way to the floor, thank God, for that. And the bedroom one was 120 inches,
128.
128 inches. So we got curtains. So that meant we had to get, because you always have, they were panels. So you have to get, you want to be able to have fullness in them, right? Not that I think he really cares. I mean,
Well, we didn't get as full as I would normally buy,
no.
but actually they turned out okay.
Well, we ended up buying 10 panels, 4 for
Yeah.
the bedroom and 6 for the living room. And then we had to get rods as well. His apartment doesn't have any of that kind of stuff in it at all. And then when we got over there, we had to figure out,
How to hang them up,
yeah,
because there's no room above the windows to hang them. And there was some pre-drilled holes in the ceiling, thank God, because the ceiling is concrete.
it's concrete,
So,
yeah.
I just basically used the existing holes to hang up the rods, which worked out okay. And yeah, I wasn't sure if the brackets that came with the rods would work from if you hang them from the ceiling, but actually they seem to work okay. So
Yeah. So actually, it looked okay in there. They're a little
at least it
wrinkly.
covers up the windows.
Well, yeah, and he's on the ground floor, and there's people back onto his apartment building. Not that he really cares about that, but they might.
I said to him after we were done, "Oh, now you can walk around in the nude," and he said, "Well, what makes you think I don't do that already?"
And he probably does. But anyway, so we picked up a family pack of Swiss Chalet. Kitty seemed to enjoy it. He was giving little pieces to his kitty. She's such a little cutie, little scrawny thing, but she's cute. Um. Oh yeah, and while you were cleaning, or while you were putting up the curtains in the living room, Kitty decided to puke.
Yeah, I noticed that. I almost stepped in it.
Yeah. So, cats do what cats do. Um, yeah, so we took over a few other little things. I've been, purchasing things that I think he probably should have or whatever. Um,
Yeah, I know. He really didn't take advantage of taking as much out of the old house as he should have,
no,
because he didn't have a step ladder.
no.
I had to bring a step ladder with me, so because you need to be able to get up on the.
Well, he doesn't even have a kitchen table. I mean, his
No.
kitchen's very, very tiny. But so basically, you go over there, and if we take over like dinner and that, we're sitting at his coffee table, kind of a thing. It's very,
Well, mind you, like that for him, he's living
yeah.
by
Well, he
himself,
lives by
so.
himself, but a kitchen table, though, a small one, would give him more room in his kitchen because he hasn't any counter space, really in there, whatever. But he had the opportunity. I mean, he was moving out of his family home, and his dad was going into a retirement residence. And basically, when they sold the house, the people that bought the house said you can leave whatever you want to leave behind. Take whatever you want, leave whatever you want. It doesn't matter because they're essentially are gutting the inside of the house because they're going to make it into offices, I think. Because it's zoned for commercial where this house is located now. And so he had this opportunity to pick up the stuff. He didn't want any of it.
And he didn't even take very many tools.
No.
Because he didn't really have any tools.
And
either,
the
so.
thing was, his dad was a car mechanic. Actually,
Yeah,
his
I
dad
know.
was a teacher, an auto mechanic teacher. But before he became an auto mechanic teacher, he was a Class A auto mechanic. He had tons of tools. And he didn't take any. Like, I don't know. But anyways, so we're trying to get him set up with things as I make lists every week of things, I hear him say, like, he wanted to put some things on his wall and he was trying to do it with Velcro. He didn't have any command hooks and stuff. And well, sometimes you get those at the dollar store because they're cheaper there. But I said to him, I'll get you some command hooks. I order them all the time from Amazon. I order them in bulk because I use those things for everything. So I got him some of those. They came the other day. and we'll pick him up some more grocery items. We took over this time some chicken breasts and some hamburger, and Walter separated them all up and put them into individual packets, like the breasts of chicken, it's their single serving kind of a thing, and the hamburger, which you do, divide it up into 1 pound packages. Yeah. So it makes things a little bit easier. Actually, the freezer on that fridge he's got's a good size in there, and considering he's got nothing in it. So yeah, this is what we do now. Okay, we need to adopt them.
Yeah, I know. Tools.
Yeah.
Just leave the tools behind. Tools are worth a lot of money.
Well,
resell.
I don't know if his sister took any of it.
I don't know.
She took some stuff from the house, but she was trying to get him to take more stuff, and he just wouldn't do it. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. But anyways, so we're his godparents now. Pretty much.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes people, when they move out of a house they've lived in for a long time, like that would sort of be that was he grew up in, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they have a hard time with things or memories for them or something.
Yeah.
like
Well,
that.
I think there is something to that for him, because I know that he's always had sort of a, his mom died of quite a few years ago now, and basically that's really wrecked him up.
Yeah,
at
I
the
noticed
time.
when he was unpacking a few things on Thursday night that some of the items he was unpacking were things that his mother liked.
Yeah, they were sentimental for him, and that kind of thing. So yeah, so anyways, I'm just worried about when he gets his first hydro bill, because his apartment rent does not include hydro, and hydro is expensive as hell here in our area. So I mean,
and his heating is a hydro, so
yeah, his heating is electric baseboard, and right there that just sucks up the money to start with that. And he basically doesn't have any money. So, like, he's got a job, but doesn't pay a lot. And
didn't pay a lot. And I
it's
think he's a
part-time.
little naive as to what proportion of how much other stuff you have to buy other than just rent. So
yeah. So anyways, well, we're keeping an eye on him, but what can you do? He's a friend, and I've known him for a long time, and you gotta help friends. So yeah. So anyways, that was the highlight of the week, putting up curtains. Did we do anything else?
actually, I was glad I wasn't looking forward to putting them up. I'm
Yeah,
glad they went up as fast as they did.
Yeah. But Laura says, second here, highlight that. Laura says, that's what I was thinking, Walter. Some of these items might have specific memories for him, whether good or bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's what it is. But anyways, I wish he'd take that laptop of his as he's got sitting on the floor, because he hooks it into his TV set, because he plays a lot of video games, plus he knows how to get freebie channels through his computer and stuff like that. And I was so afraid I was going to step on it a few times.
Oh yeah, Teresa. Hydro is electrical bill. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
they wouldn't know what that is.
Yeah. Hydroelectric. Yeah, that's what we call it here. But anyways, yeah. So he's maybe in for a rude awakening when that first hydro bill comes through. I mean, as it is, we're on equal billing.
Yeah, but we run a lot of stuff that.
Well, we have a hot tub running off it, and
and in the summer we use air conditioner,
so but we pay $172 a month, but that's equal billing. So I don't know. Well, anyways.
Yeah, Laura says didn't he sell the items to get some cash? Well, you would think so, but no, I don't think so.
Nope, he didn't. He just wanted to be rid of everything. He didn't want to be bothered with it. And he didn't want to move a whole lot of, the apartment he's in is tiny. I mean, it's actually the biggest room in the apartment is his bedroom. It's huge. But
what was weird about it is that there's no closet in the bedroom.
There's no closet in the bedroom. He has a closet in the hallway.
And it's not very big.
No, which is meant, for coats and things. He has another closet in that hallway as well, which is sort of a utility closet.
I think it has, no, he has a closet that has, like for bath towels and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
he's got a linen closet.
Linen closet.
Sorry,
Yeah.
that, and there's that other closet but that's actually basically where the hot water tank is, I think,
Oh, okay.
in that one. But there's that one right in when you come by the door,
Mm-hmm.
right in there. It's not very deep.
No, it's not very big. So that's really the only closet he has to hang any clothes or anything.
Yeah, well,
I don't think he has very many clothes. So.
well, he hung them all up. He had them all. There was no. That's something I wanted to put on my list. Get him more hangers, because all his hangers are used up that he bought. He bought those.
Yeah, we had to
packages
throw our coats on the floor.
on the floor. Yeah, because there was nowhere to
Well,
hang.
no,
up.
you were upset that he had his PC on the floor. Well, what do you care? It's his PC.
Well, screw me for giving a shit. I was afraid I'd step
He
on
was
it.
all upset that he had his microwave sort of hanging off the end of the counter.
Well, it didn't need to. It would fit.
No,
You
I
could kinda
know, but
push
you
it
don't
in.
live there, so.
Well, he hadn't packed any of the boxes. Well, 3 that he had either. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm just.
Yeah, I know you're uptight about everything has to be in its place. So.
It does. It does.
Well, the other thing you didn't have, you have to put on your list is salt and pepper shakers.
Yeah, they're on my list. I've got a list over there. I've started it already. Yeah, you didn't have any. Okay, so we take over the Swiss Chalet, and it had French fries, right?
Swiss Chalet is sort of rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
So
So you put, salt on your French fries, kind of a thing. Well, he pulls out a bag
a plastic bag
from the
like
bulk
this
barn.
big.
And he had bought it was filled. It had sea salt in it, coarse sea salt, and he's had that for. Well, let's put it this way: he has had it so long. You know how plastic goes when it's sat for many
Begins to
years,
get, opaque
and it starts to go like funny feeling and that. That's how long that salt had been there. So,
mind you, I don't think salt goes bad. So.
well, it probably doesn't. But so when we get him some salt and pepper shakers, we also get him a box of
real salt.
real salt, table salt. Yeah, Teresa, he is like a teenager, okay?
Yeah, actually is.
Yeah. Like he's a good person. He's very, very intelligent. Kind of lacking in social skills.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess that's why I worry about him, because I see here a whole lot of potential that isn't
Being
not coming to fruition here, kind of a thing. I mean, as long as he's happy, that's all that matters. It's not for me to say, but it is for me to help. So that's what we're doing. And I'm trying not to do it in such a way that
that he starts becoming dependent on it.
Well, yeah, and also I don't want him to insult his pride by, making it look like charity.
He doesn't get insulted.
Well, you'd be surprised. But anyway, so enough about that. So an update on my retreat, the Idiot Quilter retreat. I'm down a presenter just simply because of circumstances for what we were going to do and everything. It's not going to work out now and everything like that. But that's okay. I've got 2. But if anybody out there, if you'd like to be a presenter, if you've got something you'd like to talk about, show us. You don't have to be an expert, okay? But maybe you do something that, other people might be interested in. Like, I don't think Adrian's on here. Maybe I should talk to Adrian, though, about that. Like, Adrian makes hats, and they're fantastic. And I did an interview with her, if you remember, if you saw it, way back on the Idiot Quilter Presents. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I should ask her if she'd be interested. Because it's really interesting what she does, the whole procedure for that. And it's something a little different. And it's something that crosses over 2 worlds, in a way. Both crafting and sewing is involved in that. So maybe I will send Adrian off a message, because I think she's coming to the retreat. I'll have to check my list. I think she said she was. So anyways, but if somebody else out there has something they'd be, willing to talk about, show us. It doesn't have to be long, 30 minutes-ish, okay? Could be shorter, whatever. I just like to do this because I like to focus on the talent that's already there. And also it breaks the day up a little bit as well. It's in the scheduling. I'm just trying to think what I could do to show. I could be a presenter, but you know, you see me present all the time. So, you know,
Yeah, we're
through my
tired of
channels.
your old stuff.
You're just so complimentary today. Let's see. Have you been told yet? Here's a tip. I would like you to pick a finger. Pick a finger, any finger. I'll give you a hint. None of these. That's the one for you. And it doesn't mean I still think you're number one. Okay. No, Eddie, it is not the surprise guest. We are on schedule with that. In fact, I have a meeting with the surprise guest on March the 2nd to go over the technical aspects. And yeah. I mean, I'm a little disappointed in this other one, but it's beyond this person's control. Some things have happened, some things didn't work and whatnot, and that's fine. That's okay. We'll work on that for another time. You know, it's just the way it works. What's this one? Dang, and my tarantula died a few years back that I took to show and tells for little kids. Teresa, you had a tarantula? Oh.
Or is she just saying that?
Or are you just being funny? Either way, I'm glad it's dead. What can I say? And what's this? Laura says, oh dear, that's old salt. Yes, but Ontario humidity in the summer will do a number on salt, sugar, etc. Stored in bags. Yeah, I know. That's why you need Morton's, because it pours when it rains.
I don't think we can get Port Morton's.
No, I don't. But that's that old, you know, that's what they used to do at the commercial. Okay, so upcoming advance notice on March the 2nd, it is Craft and Chat again. God, it's coming up fast. It's always the first Wednesday of the month, and so the first Wednesday falls on the 2nd of March. And starts at 1 p.m., goes to about 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All are welcome. You know the routine, and you will find in the show notes today for this the link already. Yeah, it's advanced, but it's only a week and a half away. So yeah, we're right into March real quick. Teresa, no, I did. She was she had the tarantula. It was 28. Oh, I didn't know they lived to be that old. Wow. As large as your hand. No. Tarantulas give me the heebie-jeebies. No, thank you. I'm glad your tarantula's dead. Just for the sake of... Anyways, whatever. You know, Teresa, the more we get to know you, the more we're starting to think that you are somebody that is possibly from another dimension. I don't know. I mean, irate overload. There's a pattern.
Overlord.
Overlord. That's what I say.
You said overload.
Oh. Well, it could be that too. Never mind. Thank you. I stand corrected, as always. So anyways, Craft and Chat, March the 2nd. Be there, be square. I don't think I'll do another pop-up sew day until, you know, a little bit after the retreat, because with Craft and Chat falling in the same week that the retreat does, it might be a little much to... I was thinking of doing one next Saturday, but no, I have to clean house next Saturday because it's the end of the month. And I don't like cleaning, but I have to do it because I don't like dirty. I hate dirty more than I hate cleaning. So if I get in the groove with it, I'm not too bad once I get going. Okay, so that brings us to the trucker occupation in Ottawa. But I got an interesting email from, and I don't think she's on here. I haven't seen her pop up. From Sally Bolt, who lives in New Zealand. Sally made an appearance on our last Craft and Chat, and that was really nice to have her because, you know, New Zealand, there's tomorrow already. So it's Monday for her. But she wrote something very interesting, and I asked her if I could bring this up today as sort of a jumping off point to talk about this issue with the truckers and bring you up to date on what's been going on in Canada and what we know, because the media is not telling you well, the general media is not telling
Not
you
telling
everything.
you everything that's going on.
Yeah, you
no.
need to do a little bit of research if you're interested. And of course, Walter is the research expert, so of course he is my resident expert on all things trucker right now. But she said our police, possibly not New Zealand government, she's a disclaimer here, are currently taking advice on the protest situation from the Canadian police. I hope you guys have it right. When I read that, I went, no, we do not have it right. It has been so badly mishandled. You know, it's gone on for 3 weeks. And this weekend, the cops finally went into motion and started making arrests and pushing them back.
Plus, they also got cops from all over the country
Yeah.
that came in, and they had like thousands of cops. So
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm going to let Walter talk about some of these things in a second here because he knows more about it than I do because he's been reading all the stuff about it. But essentially, what the cops did was they came out in full force, made a solid line of police, several rows deep, and they just slowly but surely kept moving in little increments towards the protesters. Essentially, what they were doing was pushing them back, trying to get them out of the area that they had been occupying, which was in front of the Parliament buildings and that in Ottawa. And that was causing all kinds of turmoil for businesses in that area because the Parliament buildings in Ottawa are right there. They're this kind of at the top of the downtown core of Ottawa. But they weren't doing it aggressively. They weren't constantly moving. They would take a couple of steps forward and stop and wait 5 or 10 minutes.
yeah, and some of these people had their children with them.
Yeah.
And they were pushing their children in front of them.
Using them like human shields.
And there was a children's aid group there, and they were trying to make sure the children were safe. And actually, charges were being laid, apparently, to people that were pushing their children in front of them as protection. They were charged extra because I guess child endangerment or whatever as well.
So they weren't really taking anybody and arresting them right off the bat. What they would do is if somebody tried to push through the police line, then they got him. They grabbed the sucker, threw him to the ground, handcuffed him, hands behind the back, and took them away and did whatever they did. Well, last statistic I saw was they had 170 they had charged.
They had 170 that charged. I think 108 of them actually were charged with an offense, and I think the rest of them, for some reason, they let go with a warning or something like that.
Yeah.
And
like Laura says, that's the proper way to push back a crowd, but they should have done this 2 weeks ago. Exactly. That shouldn't have gone this long at all. Let them have a couple of days. They've made their point, the whole bit. They've done their speeches, and then bye-bye, But no, they were just being a-holes with it all. So there wasn't any violence. Although I did see something today on...
apparently they have a couple of incidents that occurred that they're investigating. One woman said something about that she was trampled on by a horse. And
she shouldn't have been in front of the horse.
And I can't remember. There was another one. There's stuff circulating on the internet that there was supposed to be a death, but apparently that isn't true.
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah.
Well, Teresa says, I laughed out loud at one interviewee when she saw he was CTV, ran off because they weren't telling the truth. She came back crying in a few minutes, claiming a cop punched her in the face. Now she wanted the CTV.
CTV is a news.
Now she wanted the CTV.
I'm not sure.
Or do you mean... I don't know what you meant by that last part. I think there's a word missing.
Yeah.
Sounds
to me like she it sounds to me like they didn't want to be interviewed on CTV, and then to sensationalize it, she said she was punched in the face.
Yeah. But just ridiculous. Now, so there was a report I read this morning, something about that the cops had put in a smoke bomb or something, or tear gas.
No, there was somehow there was a tear gas bomb that went off, but the police say they hadn't actually set off anything, so they think it might have been from the demonstrators.
Oh, okay. Laura says, I'm a reservist with the Canadian Forces, Air Force, and this was the way we were trained in crowd disbursement. Yeah, well, I think it was an effective means, but like you said, Laura, earlier too, that, they should have done that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I think part of the problem is the organization with the police in Ottawa didn't really know what to do, or there wasn't any good leadership to organize them in such a way to handle a protest.
Yeah, and Teresa says horses won't do that unless they're trained to plow over someone, but if you put your feet in the way. Yeah, I mean, horses are big.
Yeah.
You don't get in front of a horse, and those horses are very, very well trained. They're used to crowds. That's what they're used for.
I know that one of the protesters threw a bike at one of the horses. And I don't think the horse got hurt, but I think it threw it off a bit.
Well, yeah, if someone's throwing something at the horse. I mean, that's, put your kids in the front of the line, yeah, and then try to harm animals. Yeah, that really makes your case. That really stands out as the way to protest.
Yeah, so the last few started getting a little bit more violent, I guess, the protesters.
Well, they were the diehards. And the thing was, those diehards were not necessarily truckers either. No. They were part of that, they're
I mean, it was a really strange protest because the big protest that seemed to be that they had called it Freedom 2022 or whatever, and it was supposedly an anti-vax, anti-mask, vaccine passport protest type of thing, right? That's what it sort of was advertised as. But the organizers of the group were actually mostly truckers that were upset supposedly at this vaccine mandate that the federal government had to be vaccinated when you cross the border type of thing. And if you're not, you had to go into quarantine, and that was part of it. But if you looked at the backgrounds of all the organizers, a lot of them were from far right racist style organizations, and or people that were a little bit nuts, actually. Because one guy was Patrick King. He was from a place in northern Ontario called Sault Ste. Marie, and basically he is single, lives with his mother, and not that that's a bad thing, but he said in his statement that coronavirus was created by non-white people to deplete the superior Anglo-Saxon people of the world.
Oh, yeah, right.
So that was his big thing. And then there was another one, Tamara Litch, who had belonged to a political movement in Alberta called the Maverick Party, which she quit to be part of this truck convoy thing. But I mean, her thing was in this Maverick Party, and Maverick Party was part of the what they call Wexit, which is sort of like Brexit. But there's a movement in Western Canada to separate from the rest of Canada and be their own government. And there is another organizer that was from BC, who I can't remember the name of, that was also part of the organization and also part of this Wexit movement. And then there was another organizer that goes as BJ Dictor. Ditchter.
Yeah, ditched or
But
something.
actually, it's Benjamin. BJ is for Benjamin. Benjamin Dichter, and he was one of the main instigators in it, and he was had run for the Progressive Conservative Party and didn't get through. Then he ran for another party called the People's Party of Canada, which is a big anti-vax party in Canada. Well, it's not a very big party; it's a very small party, and he didn't get that position either. He runs a printing shop, and he's also been previously charged with fraud. He amazingly was not in Ottawa on the weekend because mysteriously he had broken his foot.
Mm.
Right, so he is nowhere to be seen. So obviously he wasn't arrested. So.
Well,
So the all these leaders are for like far right. A lot of them were aligned with racist organizations where they were anti-Islamic and anti, more white supremacist type organizations. So there was a lot of hidden agenda there. And then what ended up happening is once they've organized it as this Freedom 2022 protest, is all the people that were the anti-vaxxers and the people that didn't agree with what the government was doing for mandates, for vaccine mandates and everything else, all got on the bandwagon and went nutso with this big protest, and not just in Ottawa, but also in south of Calgary in Coots. I guess Coots was a border crossing. And at the Coots border crossing, they discovered a violent group there that had lots of guns and were ready for violence. Yeah. And actually, a lot of the truckers that were protesting there actually left that area because they said they didn't want any part of that violence.
Yeah,
that occurred.
Well, that's the whole problem with this thing. This has been stirred on by forces that are not obvious. They're using the truckers to make this statement, but it is agitators, and a lot of those agitators are coming up from the States. So they've said.
Yeah, there's a group of people that were in part of the protest, which were actually were found to be American. So
yeah, they're Trumpers,
and there was a lot of hidden agendas. It wasn't just about vaccine that was part of it, but there was a whole other agenda in the background too. It wasn't just that particular thing.
Well, I think if you look really into it much deeper, and there will be people analyzing this for years to come and whatnot, because this is a significant event in Canadian history, they're going to find that this was stirred on and by anarchists, people who want to overthrow the government. The problem with overthrowing a government is you have to replace it with something. And some of them were already out there saying they wanted Trudeau to resign, government to dissolve, and they would take over.
Yeah, actually, that was part of it too. A bunch of them said that they wanted to get rid of the existing government and they would take over and form a new government.
Yeah, nuts.
And then later on, they're saying, no, that's not what they wanted to do.
Yeah, well, yeah. So Teresa said the current Ottawa police chief agrees that it should not have gotten this far, but they needed the resources to do what they did this weekend. Without the Emergencies Act, they didn't have access to it. Yeah, well, here you go. Here's another level. All right. So Trudeau wants the Emergency Act to be instated, but of course it has to go through Parliament. It has to be voted on, all that to make it legal. Well, here we go. We have the Conservatives saying they're not going to support this for this reason and that reason. The NDP turned around and said, well, they would support it, but there were conditions they want it. And because we have a minority government, it can't go through unless a majority of the House votes it in. So Trudeau is depending upon primarily the NDP to give him enough votes to get it through. The Bloc Quebec, they oppose anything that the government does. It doesn't matter what it is or when it is, because Quebec is special, they think, and they are legends in their own mind. So yeah, But this is not the time for there to be a split in the government. This is a time when the government at all parties needed to come together, because this was a crisis affecting the whole of Canada, the whole nation. This isn't time for politics, but of course, politicians make everything about politics. They don't give a shit about the people. And if anybody who thinks that any politician cares about, and at any level of government, cares about the people that they represent, you need to have your head examined, because they don't. They want the big bucks. They want the pension here in Canada that they get for being in Parliament and put in there. They want the perks and the benefits. They are not in it for the average person. There is no way. And if any politician tries to tell you that they are just outright a bold-faced liar. So that's one of the problems. And yeah, the Ottawa police chief couldn't do it. However, the Ottawa chief police, he is the chief of police. He could have put more pressure on it. But every time that guy opened his mouth, it was mamby-pamby. So, c'est la vie.
Apparently, he also had... I don't know if it's true, but he had anger issues and things like that. So.
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, anybody who's a chief of police, I'm sorry, this may ruffle feathers on people, but really, you have to question the mentality of people who go into the police force. And I'm sorry, I know I'm whitewashing, or am I, with this? Because every cop I've ever known, people I went to high school with that became cops and things like that, they had, when they were in high school, a power thing that they wanted. And a chief of police is like a politician too. They want the power that comes with that job. I'm sorry. I mean, this is my opinion. You're free to debate it, but that's what I feel.
Let's just hope that they learned something from this protest.
Well, they all said they learned something from the SARS thing that happened, back 20 years ago or something, and they were well prepared for COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they don't learn. They don't learn. And Laura says, the residents of Ottawa have been held hostage in their homes for a month. They've been living through essentially a war. Yeah, exactly. And that's not right. People in this country have the right to protest, and that wasn't being taken away from them. But there is a right way and a wrong way to do it. I've been in protests before as a teacher. I have marched on the legislation in Ontario, the legislative building, Queen's Park is what it's called here. I've held signs and the whole bit. We go, we hold our signs, we march up University Avenue, which is the main drag to the Parliament buildings. We stand outside, we are orderly, we listen to some speeches, and then we go and leave and have dinner.
Yeah, you have a protest for a day, or maybe it spans over 2 days, but you don't sit and occupy and terrorize people.
Yeah,
that live in the area and just to get your own way. And that's part of it. It's they have to get their, they want to get their own way. That's the whole thing.
And the other thing too was you said that the government had asked businesses that were in the war zone, if you want to call it that, the occupation zone, to shut down for that time. But you said that there sounded like there was going to be some compensation for them doing that.
Yeah, actually the government of Canada said that they were going to, businesses can apply for compensation for having to shut down for those days.
Yeah. So, which is good. I think that's only right, that they should be compensated for that kind of thing. But it's the money now, the whole thing. I mean, okay, so they dragged out some of the big rigs. They had some problems.
70 of them.
It was 70 of them?
Yeah.
They had some problems at the start of this trying to get towing companies to come in and take them away. Well, you can probably understand that. Towing companies, this is their livelihood. And towing companies that have the ability to be able to tow large transport trucks like that were there. These they don't know how this is going to turn out, if they will be blacklisted and can't, won't, they'll lose business from this, from doing it. Also, they probably don't want to put themselves in the line of fire, because they don't know whether people are going to attack them as they try to hook up their tow trucks to the big rigs. People come and smash their truck, or whatever, or even bodily harm.
Yeah, so anyway, because under the Emergencies Act, they said the tow truck companies actually had their logos on the outside of their trucks covered up by police stickers, and the actual people that were doing the towing were disguised with balaclavas.
Oh yeah.
And their license plates were covered up as well. So.
Well, I'm glad that they did that, because I think that's only right. And I am sure that they sweetened the deal by giving them like extra money for it, which I have nothing against. I think that they need to have, what do you call that? Danger pay, or there's a name for that kind of thing. But
I'm sure that they probably were compensated. I don't know what access they have for the crowdfunding, but the crowdfunding had been they've tried its best to keep the money from being available for crowdfunding, because that's part of the problem with this new type of protest is they get crowdfunded by all these crowdfunding things for people donating money to them. So that they can sustain a long protest.
Yeah. So, but this whole thing, they said, like, what was it? It was costing what, $800,000 a day for the Ottawa police force alone while this was going on, or something like that.
To manage it.
And then there's all the other money that the government's going to pay out, and the government's already put out all kinds of money during COVID.
The mayor of Ottawa, I don't know if they can do this, but the mayor of Ottawa has already said that he wants the government to seize the vehicles that have been impounded and resell them for money for funding the operation for policing this thing.
Well, I think that's a really good idea, but he probably can't do it legally with it. So. But I mean, just ridiculous. Now, as of today, there were still protesters, not the ones on the news report I saw. They had cleared out the whole area. There was nobody left in terms of the big rigs and everything like that. The truckers had moved on. Some of them were stopping in like places outside of Ottawa, but it sounded like they were basically on their way home, and they had stopped at a truck stops or something like that. It wasn't really, trying to occupy another little town or something like that. Well, what would be the point of occupying a little town, but they also said that there were still protesters there, but they were ones who had come in by foot, or, had flown in from other parts of the country, I guess, mainly out west, because that's where all the rednecks live, out west.
Yeah, a lot of these, the people that were organizers were people from out Western Canada, or actually a lot of them came from small communities in Western Canada and small communities in Northern Ontario.
So let's talk Hicks, all right? Because really, so it sounds like they've got it now under control. So what's the next phase of all of this? Essentially, they have lost, but they have run up quite a tab. And guess who's going to be paying for that in the long run? All of us in Canada. You can't bet. The combination of COVID, this stuff, everything else, the government's been throwing money at this thing for the last 2 years, and well, we're going to be paying. And I said to Walter the other day, and guess who did not get a cent during COVID? Us. And when I mean us, I mean people like us who have pensions, that are retired, who don't have any children in the education system, who don't do daycare, who, we just live our lives and the whole bit, but we'll be paying it through our taxes. We're going to be paying for it. Well, we're already paying for it through increased food prices. We're paying for it. Everything's gone up because of this. This is long lasting here forever. And yeah. So, and what I was going to say about that, about the food prices and stuff, aren't you just sick and tired of the farmers out there blaming COVID for why their prices are going up? Like chicken, eggs, butter, milk. And yet, and they're all claiming that it's because of COVID and all this stuff. Yet, there seem to be several chicken farmers and others out there that gave money.
Gave lots of money to crowdfunding things for the truckers.
Yeah.
They and I thought, well, wait a minute, for farmers complaining that they don't have any excess money and everything else, they seem to have a lot of excess money to donate to these fringe groups.
Yeah, well, I call BS on the farmers. You know, I've got nothing against farmers. We need them, great, you know, and everything. But when they start screaming that they're not getting enough money for stuff,
and then they can afford to throw money at crowdfunding things.
Yeah, really. No. So that's why instead of paying $2.47 for a dozen eggs, it's now $3.50 a dozen or more, and milk's gone up. And these are essential food things. And so who's going to suffer from that? Well, all of us, but especially the lower income bracket who can hardly afford now to put food on the table. Thank you, farmers. Thank you for that as well. You know, so this whole thing has been governed by politics and the almighty dollar in all of this. Yeah, and it is outrageous, Teresa. Yes, it's called Keep Seniors in Their Homes. I'm not sure exactly what that means, Marlene. I know that our government, our Ontario government, has done very little for people in nursing homes and that kind of thing. And they're talking about putting all this money into long-term care facilities, or into other other support systems, so people can stay in their homes longer. That is so much bullshit. So much bullshit.
Yeah, because what you end up having is they don't have any support systems that they create for seniors.
And I know, because I tried to get some of those support systems when my dad was with dementia and couldn't walk, and give my mother relief and stuff like that. And, you know, you just can't find anything. And that little help that you get is nothing.
Like 4 hours a week.
Yeah. So, you know, like, this is all the bullshit that we have to put up with from them. So, you know, what can we do? So the repercussions of all of this are long lasting, and, well, we're never going to go back.
No.
You know, we used to talk about, you know, well, the new normal and the whole bit. Yeah, this is all the new normal. And now they've released, now as of March the 1st, basically in Ontario, there's no restrictions.
You know, no vaccine passport.
No, don't need a vaccine passport. So the anti-vaxxers got what they wanted. They'll be able to march right into a restaurant and, you know, the whole bit. You know, I really think what the government should have done is just called in the military and shot them all. And if this had been in the United States, not too far from reality in that idea.
It would have been a little bit. But actually, there's also been calls now that if it was a racist demonstration, like what do you call it? Not racist. If it was an indigenous person thing, or something that was a minority group. A minority group protest, they would have ended it a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, they would have. I mean, prime example is all the conflicts our government have had over the years with the indigenous people. And they just go in and shut them down, you know? And they're not protesting en masse like these other ones are. And they're being very, very
well, maybe because this one had big
peaceful
trucks.
Yeah, well, blow them up real good. It would be nice to see them, you know,
I guess
uh,
maybe we need
make them
they
pay.
need to really push autonomous driving trucks so that they don't have to deal with truck
Yeah.
drivers.
Well, now the next question that comes up too is, are they done? Have they learned that they cannot get what they wanted to get?
Yeah, who knows?
But I have a feeling no, because they're stupid people to start with, and stupid people do not learn. They just continue to find their next stupid thing and the whole bit. But I think what our government also needs to do is I think we need to be a little bit more
Careful.
about who we let over the border.
Yeah. Or no, also careful. Well, I mean, they knew that this truck thing was going to come far in advance because they were traveling across the country.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they knew that was coming.
They just let them go wherever they wanted to go in Ottawa. And I think in future they should be, if when they know something like this is coming, to basically filter them out.
Yeah. Like they
or
had lots of warning. Everybody knew they were headed towards Ottawa. It was on the news. They made no bones about it. It wasn't like they were sneaking in, kind of
or
things.
filter them out so that they can't get their trucks in, but they could go on foot to do a protest.
Block off
Yeah.
the main exit, the entranceway to it, like a kilometer or so it
Yeah.
wouldn't disturb, the downtown core of Ottawa. Just crazy. And I am sad to say I like Justin Trudeau. I voted for him. I will vote for him again because the alternative to Justin Trudeau, well, there isn't any as far as I'm concerned.
Well, unless there's a decent alternative, but
what's that going to be?
But I don't know so far.
I'll never vote for the Conservatives. I don't care who they put in.
Yeah, so far
as their leader.
Yeah, I know. I've got lots of things against the Conservatives that what they've done to gay people and stuff like that in the past, and that's one of the reasons I won't vote.
And I won't vote for NDP because NDP is really good at being critical and being the opposition, but they've never been in power, so they haven't got a clue. They talk about pie in the sky.
Andy, yep, we were talking about you one time earlier this week. We said Andy has the right idea. We don't like people. We're for horses and dogs and cats.
Yeah, that's right. And I agree totally with that one. I'm not sure what Teresa means here. A protest Woodstock. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, these people, during the protests, there were reports that they had portable hot tubs. They had their barbecues out there.
Castle.
They had a bouncy castle. They put that up like on Friday or something
There
like
was
this.
a kid they interviewed that the newscast interviewed. He was 18 years old and he was part of the live music group, right? And
entertainment.
They interviewed him and they were asking him about the protest and all this other stuff and about ending the protest, and all he said was, "It's not fair. We're here for freedom." I mean,
he doesn't even understand the concept of fair, for one thing, and nobody at 18 does, because all the years that I taught, it's what I heard on a daily basis from kids in school. This isn't fair. And I'd say, you're right, it isn't fair. Suck it up. Get used to it. Life is not fair. Learn that lesson now, and you'll be much happier later with it. You won't be disappointed. And then freedom. What is this false sense of what freedom is? Freedom is not the ability to do anything you want. Freedom is to what the majority of people want, what makes life happiest for people. But there has to be rules. If you're saying freedom is no rules and let's run amok, that's not freedom, that's anarchy. Okay? There's a big difference between the two. So listening to these people go on and on about their personal rights and their freedom is being infringed upon. No, it's
I always
not.
said too with the mask thing is for years it said no shirt, no service, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, people don't think twice about people don't walk into a store without a shirt or shoes on. What difference does it make if you add a mask to that?
Yeah, I know. Like let's get over it. It's a fashion statement now. Decorate your mask. Whatever. We're so used to it, aren't we? Like, it's been almost 2 years. I mean, it's not even, I don't even think about it. I just naturally have my mask with me when I go out. And, if I see somebody without a mask on someplace, I'm in shock. Like, of course, that's going to change now.
Yeah. Andy said freedom is for people being able to do what they want without consequences.
Yeah. Well, that's not really freedom. That's anarchy. So, get over it. Yes, we do have freedoms. You had the freedom to protest peacefully, to make your voice heard. But they weren't doing that. They were asking for unreasonable, completely unreasonable, asinine, actually, demands. Like, yeah, Trudeau's going to resign and government's going to collapse and you're going to take over. Can we say January the 6th in the United States, 2021? Look how that turned out with the storming of the Capitol and all that kind of stuff. Like, ludicrous. And that's where I think some of these idiots are getting the idea. We're a different country. So back to the original statement point that was made by Sally saying, about New Zealand taking, the cue from Canadian police. I would say partially, yes. But
maybe they're looking at it more from the standpoint of how do we get rid of these people in a way that's nonviolent.
Yeah, well, I think that's what they're looking at. I mean, yes, I think our police handled it correctly. It was such a powder keg. I mean, it could have erupted into violence.
I mean, today I think they were a little bit more aggressive in that they were actually using pepper spray with people that got into their face too bad.
Good.
And stuff like
that. Give it
that.
to them.
So, I mean,
but there could have been people. If this had been the United States, there would have been guns. There would have been guns. Yeah. Well, they did find some guns, out west?
Out west in Coots, Alberta.
Yeah.
There was a whole group of them and they actually found plans of using the guns for a violent, if the cops had gone in and started pressing there was a group of them that were planning gun violence. Well, that's what we're told.
Yeah, that's what we're told. We don't know the whole story on that.
But I guess there were a lot of truckers there that were protesting that said when they heard they found the guns, they said, I'm done with this protest because that's not why we're not here to be violent. We're protesting, but we're not here to be violent. And they actually left.
Yeah, well, good.
So
those were the ones that had more of a brain.
Yeah,
not a lot. They had more of a brain. I mean, this whole situation is an embarrassment to Canada. It's an embarrassment to Canadians, to those of us that, are doing the right thing. What are you laughing at?
She says, I'll wear my mask. They're pretty and I don't have to wear makeup.
Oh. Yeah, if it ever comes to the day where we no longer need to wear the masks out and that, we won't recognize anybody. Excuse me, could you just hold your hand up here?
What's funny is I recognize people with their mask, even with their masks.
Yeah, I know.
It's funny how much people look unique and
yeah. Oh, Cindy's here. Hi, Cindy. Yeah, well, anyways, that was this week in Canada. So, hopefully next week will be better. We're over this thing. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So I think that's time for us to go bye-bye. So thanks everybody for joining us today. And remember, advance notice for Craft and Chat doesn't come up till March the 2nd though. So there's a little bit of time yet, but it's in the show notes.
So it's a week Wednesday, right?
Yeah, it's a week this coming Wednesday. Yeah, so stay tuned for other things that we put up on the channel. And everybody have a great week and we'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.